Mitch Durham. He is the current Australian captain for the Australian national karate team.
Still, I hope.
Comes from Perth in WA, and he's been doing karate since he was 5 years old?
Yeah, 6 years old, yeah.
6 years old. Persevered with the sport through his teens, and he's currently ranked in the top 10 in WKF rankings. He represented Australia at the Paris qualifying event in 2021 that happened during COVID. And also my good friend for some time.
Yes. I'm glad I made the cut.
What else? He's also an ambassador for his local gym, right? Physio gym.
Yeah, physio gym.
And also a spokesperson for men's mental health in particular, and mental health in general for young people. And you also have your own karate club that you just opened, right?
Yeah, I just opened it up about a month ago. So hopefully, I think I knew from a long time ago that karate was just going to be my thing. And I just decided to pull the pin and open up the club and teach some little kids and hopefully start my coaching career, which is exciting.
Yeah. But you've been teaching for some time, right?
Yeah, I've been helping out and teaching for my club for as long as I can remember. Yeah, I love coaching. Yeah.
When did they start you to teach?
I think I started helping out when I was like a junior brown belt, just helping out the seniors who were instructing and just assisting and stuff like that. And I think I started taking my my classes on my own maybe like when I was 18. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 19. Yeah.
Interesting.
I love teaching kids. I teach kids all day, and like I'd also, not just karate, but like in daycare centres. So like that's my job. So I go around to daycare centres and do like a little sport class for the toddlers to teach them how to like jump and run and be an organised class for sport. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, that's really cool. I didn't know that about you.
You didn't
I
know?
wasn't sure. No, well, I knew you worked with children.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure to what capacity. Like whether it was like what type of work it was, whether it was workshops or but it's your day job.
Yeah. I just drive around to every daycare centre that I work for, and I just like do a 45-minute class. Well, it's 20 minutes per group, and because like kids at 3 years old, they can't last more than like 25 minutes. So I just teach them how to like get into a group and learn how to jump and run and like fundamental movement, because I feel like that when kids start doing sport, I feel like sometimes it's missed, just like the basic things,
Maybe we could talk about when you were a kid.
When I was a kid?
Yeah. I don't know if you remember.
I probably needed the coordination. I was not coordinated at all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My childhood was pretty amazing, to be honest. It was. Like, I was so lucky. Like, my parents had a great support network, and they let me do so many things. And with school, I just felt really loved and supported, and I felt like I had so many options, to do. So I did like footy and did different sports as well, but I think I was a bit unco, and I fell into karate just because Dad was also did karate with my sensei. And then I just did karate for a long time. I started enjoying the connection with there. Met my best friend there. We trained together since we were 6 years old. So, and we're still hanging out now, which is great. So I think the connection piece of like the community probably drew me in. But I don't know. I think I had a pretty stock standard childhood.
Well, I don't know about that, because I think a lot of people also go through a lot of difficulty through childhood, right?
Yeah.
So it's not always like stock standard to say like I had the best childhood ever, no trauma, yeah.
I definitely, there's probably, but isn't there like trauma in that? There's like,
well, I don't know. Is there?
Like I think maybe I don't know. Seeing it nowadays is like now I'm older and like dealing with big boy problems and things like that. You see things starting to like surface, I guess, about like how you maybe respond emotionally to situations and stuff. And
Right.
it is interesting, I guess, to have like a thought back to why you would think like that, you know? So I guess there's always, no matter how good your situation was, there's always something that's like probably not ideal. Yeah.
What I'm really interested in about what you just said was that, you know, you had a great childhood from what you remember of it.
Yeah.
You know, like no like crazy difficulties.
Yeah.
You know, you had a lot of options, you played a lot of sport, but you stuck with karate. And I think that's like really interesting because I know that as a nation in Australia, we have a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
And people who do sport, they can just do anything. I mean, we don't have, like, we're really lucky in Australia. We don't have war. We don't have, like, crazy environmental strife, you know, yet. Like, you know, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
But at the moment, we don't have to live with these external problems. And we're largely very lucky and live in abundance in many ways. And from that perspective, I mean, as a competitor, I noticed that when I was competing, you go overseas to these international comps and you meet people who are like training in war zones.
Yeah.
You know, they have like all of these severe like conditions happening around them, like incredible hardship that they have to push through. And you can just see it in their eyes. You're like, this is my livelihood. You are not getting through me. And somehow you kind of have to find a way to get through that person too, right?
Yeah.
Because, and also just in terms of focus, people who have not much on the outside, like karate is often a lifeline, often offers so much opportunity to people who are from countries and they just put everything, like whenever they wake up, they just wake up, they go to training and then they're just training and then they go back to sleep and eat, you know, it's very, but in Australia we don't really have that. And I guess like, you know, for someone who's stuck with karate, you had all these other options. I'm just curious, like what it was, if you can recall, that like made you like stick with it and sort of what you find are kind of qualities that you sort of
Like
related
to.
to in terms of martial arts.
I think early on I was for sure attracted to the martial art of the discipline, the structure of karate. And it's just like, I think that was quite important for me as a child to like learn how to, I don't know, be a good human. I don't know. And I think that's a big part of like karate is why it's so different to other sports, is it teaches you a lot about how to, you know, be a functioning member of society, and you can contribute in the best way possible. But then I just know that competition was like a main driver for me very early on. So we had a really good group of athletes, or just kids that would train together, and we would compete in the local state tournaments, and then all of a sudden we can go to Sydney at a very young age. I remember going to the Aussie Open in 2007 and I was 9. So that's how young it was competing and traveling with that team, with your friends, competing, doing karate. Like, it wasn't even about winning or losing. It was about, I can't remember exactly what, but the feeling of when I was in this exact same hotel, it's like running around with your friends up and down the elevators. Just the connection piece is so much more valuable to me than the sport itself or winning, you know. And yeah, I think I just stuck with it because I wanted to then also succeed in it. Like, I realized, okay, well, maybe I could be good at this soon or whenever, but I wanted to commit myself to it, and it probably became my like personality, to be honest. I'm sure you sort of know a little bit about that. Like, when you're so focused on something, then it becomes your identity. So it's quite interesting. Like, later on I had to definitely separate that as like because that was an issue, like sort of as I was a young adult, just having to separate that rather than just being Mitch the karate athlete. I'm like, I am Mitch and this is something I do. That was like sort of later on. But in the beginning, just as a kid, just the connection with friends and the little group that we had, karate was just fun, you know. And then I just love the martial art. I think it's just so beautiful to see like how your body works and moves, and you can like, it's a full, you use your whole body, you know, you use everything, and it needs to have it needs to be synchronous with everything and your mind and like the connection of that. So I guess that is pretty beautiful with like the martial art side of it. I don't know if that answered any question or anything.
Yeah,
like
it
that.
did actually. It did. Yeah, you touched on a lot of really interesting qualities and a lot of yes.
Okay.
And you mentioned a lot of interesting things that I'd love to unpack a little bit further.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
I feel like we're in therapy. We're just going. I'm just going to unpack this little thing that you mentioned.
Yeah, maybe that's the direction.
Yeah, what the
this,
hell?
this type
Did you
of
stitch me up? And this is like a little therapy session?
No.
No, okay. All right, sorry.
It can be if you
No,
like.
no. Please proceed.
Well, I mean, it's just really interesting actually to talk to another athlete, and we've been around each other through competition, and you've mentioned a lot of words like discipline, being a good human, being driven by competition. I just want to unpack a little bit more in that. I guess I'd like to maybe start with let's start with like the identity thing, because that's the thing that like sort of jumped out at me. Like when you just mentioned like there was two of you.
Yeah.
You're like, there was Mitch and then there was the karate athlete.
Yeah. Well, this was quite big during COVID for me. And before COVID, I didn't really think about it too much. And I was just sort of, I think through high school, and I adopted this idea that I was just a karate, Mitch the karate guy. I was known in school like, oh, Mitch is just the karate guy. Like he's going to this tournament and he's doing karate. Like I went to training all the time. I was flying over to like interstate competitions, and I would go to some international competitions as well. And I feel like that was just my whole personality and identity for as long as I can remember. And somewhat...
You started to ask a question?
Well, no, I think I was forced to, because when COVID hit, then we were like, obviously so many people were going through like so many struggles, but I'm not saying but I was really struggling with like not being able to do karate, and it was quite jarring for me to then, I was focused immediately on doing something else. So I was like, oh, let's run a marathon. This is going to be great. Focus on that. Did that, train for that. And then afterwards, the break was quite long. And I started to sort of spiral into this unknowing of like who I am as a person, and like my identity is like, oh, if I can't do karate, then like who am I, kind of thing. And like then I had to just like go in deeper of like, all right, well, like I didn't even know where it started, but just like I was just struggling with not having a goal and not feeding that sort of side of me that I've known for as long as I can remember, you know. So that was a pretty rough time for that. But then I just started to like figure out like what I like outside of karate and connect and with my friends, because I feel like I missed out a lot on that during high school, because I just was so focused on my like sport and craft that in high school I just sort of shut everything off with the friends around me. And not because I didn't like them, but I just liked doing karate and
well, you have
training.
to prioritize.
Yeah, and you know these guys were hanging out and like going out on the weekends and stuff like that, and I would always say I'm busy or I can't do that, and so slowly it just sort of the invite stopped coming in, and I was fine with that. Because I'm just like, oh, I'm training anyway, so it's all good. But then, yeah, I guess like there was a longing for that after when COVID hit, because I'm like, oh, maybe I really do want that connection with my friends, or just a connection with and relationships with people outside of karate. And yeah, I remember distinctly that year I was just like trying my best to like catch up with people and like do things with them and just hang out and try and discover like who I am and what my connection with my people is like outside of that karate space. So it was quite a turbulent time, but it was necessary, because then it really enabled me to, I guess, take a step forward in my karate space to then, I don't know, if I'm being me, completely me, then I'm able to better facilitate all areas of my life rather than just focusing on one area. And then if something goes wrong in that area, then it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I'm just rambling.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Like what I'm curious about is, you know, in this time that was quite chaotic, but then you're still sort of unpacking. I mean, I can really relate to everything that you've just said because like that happened to me during COVID. But then because during COVID, I was just still so, I don't know, like I had a program, so I sort of did that every day. Like I was doing like 2-hour uphill sessions, like by myself in the park, and then just trying to do as much as I could. But I mean, it was really challenging because you're on your own. Like I was by myself throughout that. There was Zoom, of course, but like physically hard. I was on my own. And but I can relate to, but then I got injured. I had a serious injury. Can't hear it on the thing anyways.
I was like, I really hope that you didn't pick up that grumbling. Sorry,
Yeah, so, and then I was injured, and when I was injured, that's when I was like, okay, like, what else is, like, come on, like, I mean, I'd already started asking that question, but I can, anyway, like, my point is I can really relate to all of these, you know, questions and seeking, and because I used to think the best way to deal with everything was to compartmentalize things. I'm like, okay, that's work me, that's study me, that's karate me, and then that's home me. And so all of them, as long as they're all like separated like a bento box, everything's going to be fine.
It doesn't make
but then
sense.
I realized like they all have to be
Pokeball.
It has to be a Pokeball. Exactly.
Because it doesn't make sense to like. Because I was very much like that as well. I think I was almost maybe ashamed of my karate. When I was a kid. And so I would just be a different person in school or whatever. And it's like you're not living your truth, you know.
Because I would say to people, I'm like, I'm not a jock, and then people would literally look at me and they would just say, "You're the biggest jock we know." Really?
You are a
I'm
jock.
like, is that me? I don't know. But I mean, what I want to kind of like ask you about is that like, although like when you find these things, I guess like with the discipline in karate, because that's another word that sort of jumped out at me, in terms of maintaining that, and you said earlier on that you are a person who likes discipline and structure. So when you kind of in the world, how do you balance like that sort of feeling of like how do you find that balance when you're like sort of being in the world uncertain and sort of a bit more chaotic and kind of steering your own way?
Like during that turbulent time, or just like generally?
And then how have you then like integrated that into like your current discipline?
I guess like it took a long and deep dive into like the inner of like who I am, and so I was like working out what I need to focus on and connect with, like what really means a lot to me, and finding that out of like I really enjoy my family, my friends, my relationships, you know, being a good person and a big contribution to the areas that I'm in. That's what brings me a lot of joy and what makes me feel good. And so wherever I am in life, whether it's karate or whether it's like work or the gym or anywhere, that I still need to be doing those things in those areas, and that makes me feel like I'm being me in that, rather than like I'm me at work, I'm me at this, I'm whatever. I am still the same, whether it's if it changes, like contributing to karate and contributing to work are different, but it's still contributing. And so that's what brings me joy. And so if I'm doing those core values in each area, then that brings me sort of peace, I think. And then I think boiling it down to like, because I for me, I like to just do so much and help out. And when I stretch, I think you're pretty much the same as well. Like if you do everything and you stretch yourself too thin, you just burn out. And so making sure that I'm like doing a condensed amount of stuff that's manageable, and making sure that that's all sorted out, then I can, you know, plan my weeks and months like that, I guess. But I still struggle with like making an appropriate amount of time for each area of my life, because I always just take on too much. But I think going back to like just knowing who I am as a person and what's like true to me in
How do
every
you
area.
do that though? I mean, like it sounds really neat the way you're describing it, but like when I think about my own process of discovering like how to stay grounded, it's quite messy.
Yeah, I mean, it is, because it's like you're never like always up here. You know what I mean? You're never always feeling like 100% and good. Like I think I was like in tears like a couple of weeks ago, just like bursting out, just from I don't even know what, but just just you're always like you never get it right, or you're never feeling like 100%. But it's like I know that I like to go and connect to nature, and I like to go to the beach, and I do a lot of meditation, just being present, just little things like that to try and keep it consistently bring it back to the self, to check in and being like, is this aligning with my values or with who I believe that who I am? And maybe that changes as well.
But did you learn those things, or did
I was
someone
guided.
teach you?
Yeah, I mean, like my physio is really like an all-round mentor for me. He's a beautiful human being, and I met him in 2017, and he fixed me up like physically, but also like mentally and probably spiritually as well. Just like waking me up to, or just not waking me up, but just cashing in on like connection and being present, and just little things like that. So he was always just mentioning little things like that along the road, and he's always doing like yoga retreats and things like that. So I'm just hearing these things. He's not saying do it, but I'm just picking up on these little things. But he's helped me out through so much, And also
he's one of your influences.
For sure. On the 5, the hand. You know what the kids do?
No.
Your helping hand. Who's your helping hand? And it's like the 5. It's like,
I love that.
Yeah. So it's like the kids. They draw their hand and they're like, oh, who are the 5 people on your helping hand?
Right.
So it's like mom, dad, whatever. Kristina, Ma. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But like and my partner Jess as well. I met her in 2017. We worked together, and she was crazy, just absolutely crazy. But she was a fun girl, and we were just like, I was like, you are so wild, but she was fun, and we were just friends for a long time. And then when COVID hit, and I was going through this sort of turbulent time, I don't know why, but I was sort of gravitated towards her again as just a friend. And then I think the connection with her really grew a lot and sort of opened my eyes to like a loving connection and intimate connection a bit more. And I don't know, it's a bit of I can't really explain it, but she sort of opens my eyes and allows me to, or gives me space to explore. She's quite a spiritual person as well. And so in the beginning I was like, oh, this is all very like woo-woo, but I'm sort of half listening, but half judging. But the more I half listen, the more I'm actually now fully listening and open to just hearing more things about that. So that connection with Jess in that time of when I was struggling with my like identity crisis, it sounds so ridiculous to call it that, but because it doesn't, probably not.
I think everybody goes through several identity crises.
Crises.
I really think it happens at multiple times in our lives when we get challenged about, of course, about who we are and what we stand for and what we are doing in the world and how we are in the world, like how we are with people. Well, I guess for me, like definitely there was phases of, when I was just striving, like all I wanted to do was win. Yeah. That's it. I just wanted to kill everybody.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, like I just, then you got your number on your back. Then you have a different type of striving. And for me, a lot of that was related to proving something. I've spoken about it before on the podcast about like how like dealing with negative feedback and how everyone's telling you what a great job you did, but then one person will be like, oh yeah, but like, anyone can win that comp once, like, the real champs win it multiple times, they back it up. So stuff like that would really stay with me, and people just say it as like passing comments. So it's like, really asking myself like, do you still want this? Are you hungry? Blah, blah, blah. And then, then there's another phase that comes, I guess, later, and you just think, wow, like thinking, do I have to win this tournament,
who's it for?
The 30th time? Is it still bringing me joy?
Yeah.
Is it still adding to, is it still enriching my sense of self? And is it enriching and giving me some more wisdom about
Yeah.
things? Like, do you know what I mean?
Probably not, right? But also, desire to get it is also like, that's completely fair.
I think the desire thing, I think like for me, I was just like, what? Because I struggled a lot with, you know, because what I just admire about you is that like, you're just so wonderful to listen to about how much you just want to give back and contribute to the community, and it comes from such a genuine, heartfelt place. I mean, I don't know, you must have already said the word connection already about maybe 20
40 times.
20, yeah.
I just can't think of any of the
you're
words.
Just like, I just love it, you know, the connection. And it's just really coming from like who you are, which I just admire so much. And, you know, I can see that through the work that you're doing. And like for me as well, like I can relate to that. I love the connections with people. What stays with me is, you know, it's not at all like the results actually, even though there's a phase of karate for me when I was just like, I just want to win.
Just a killer, yeah.
Yeah, and it just, I don't know, like I think there's a way of being, I've discovered that what I want to do is, you know, talk to people more about how the real power comes from a softening and not to be so hard, because that is how you sustain what you want to do. And it may be that for some people they're in a phase where it's about winning medals, but like it doesn't, you know, like what are you going to do after you win all the medals?
Yeah, it was a big thing that like I've spoken about with Cam, who's my physio mentor, guru guy. We work a lot on like balancing the ego and utilizing it for good. And you know, this weekend you have to harness the ego because you want to win and you want to prove yourself and you want to secure your spot and get the win or whatever the goal might be. You can't just always be like, I'm just going to go and give it a crack and have fun, and like it's such a fine balance of going the desire and utilizing the ego of I am that guy or whatever. But then it's also like you've also got to remove yourself from that, the result, and not place value on that result. Not place value on yourself based on the result, because I think that's a big part of where we can go wrong, is like, I want this result, I want it, and then you don't get it, and then all of a sudden you feel less value.
Definitely.
And then it just goes into like a spiraling despair of, you know, but I completely agree with you, the softening of removing yourself from that as well. So it's the balance of going for it and then the softening of going, I am me and I'm not the result and I'm not the performance of this weekend, or I'm not my success or failures. I am me, and whatever happens over my career is just what happens. And it's all these medals and these accolades and these achievements and these failures. But it doesn't change who I am, because that's just all out here, you know?
Well, it does change who you are as a person, I think. I would argue that it does sort of shape you.
Right.
But it's not like it's not
you.
It's
not the core
just,
you.
It's your journey. It's like what's going on for you, you know?
Yeah, I suppose it is like the life's journey and the roller coaster of like how you,
of course, because,
how
you know,
you deal with those losses
have
or
cause
wins.
and effect. And
exactly. For sure. Because I suppose it does teach you how to deal with each individual moment. And like, for example, you're saying, when you've got a target on your back, or someone tells you, you're not a champ because you didn't win it twice, you've only won it once. So it's like, how do you deal with that and take it on board and then continue to move forward as Kristina?
Yeah, and I think, because a lot of people are like, you could have won that, you could have done more there, you could have done this, you could have that. I'm like, but it didn't happen, so what do we should do? Like, we can't replay it. It's gone now, it's finished, you know. Yeah. And we're still here. We have to keep moving forward. Exactly, we have to keep moving forward, and then we decide like what the next step's going to be. Yeah, I think balancing the ego, it's really tricky, I think, because I think it does happen in phases, because it's I mean, I had like some difficulty with this in terms of like, karate is an individual sport. Obviously, there's a team that makes you who you are. Like, there's people holding you, literally your body
network.
together, your support network. But you're out there on the mat doing it. So karate is an individual sport.
Yeah.
But so I really struggled with like, why am I doing this egotistical thing? Like, I'm just doing karate. Like, nobody else is benefiting but me.
Yeah.
And then I remember talking to one of my teachers about it, and he was just like, no, don't think like that. You can be, by being the best person you can be on the mat, that is affecting people. You can, you're interacting with people all the time. Like, in terms of how much benefit you bring, it's like, it's not at all like about, it depends on the way you look at it. It can be very self-centered and egotistical, but then it can also be fairly altruistic and, with a broad vision, because it's actually, I believe it is really hard to even talk freely. Like, what I was going to say with when you talk about Cam about like balancing the ego, is that something that you have to practice, or do you just like turn it on or off? Like, and so how do you practice this?
Yeah, well, it's hard because I'm not a very egotistical person. I
That's coming from a place of no ego. Just kidding.
But I feel like I am almost like ashamed sometimes of my career or achievements or things like that, because I don't like talking about it too much, or I'll be the first person to just go like, we'll just talk about someone else, you know what I mean? So that mentality in my mind doesn't really, I don't know. I'm sure everyone has that. Everyone's a normal human being, but like,
I think martial artists, maybe like it's kind of trained to have that sense of humility.
I guess so.
I remember talking to Hasegawa.
Oh yeah.
Japanese, like 7-time world champion.
Yeah.
And he just completely, just when I asked him about his successes, he just talked about his 2 brothers who he competed with, who were on his team, and he didn't really speak about himself very much.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, this person is so down to earth. It's almost like embarrassingly so. Like, you're like, no, I want to hear about like you.
Come on, tell me the stories.
But yeah.
But I think it's like harnessing that ultimate like confidence in your ability, and sort of like going into that sort of area of your mind where we all don't really love to go into, because it feels wrong and it feels like it's mean or rude, or you're being a bad person, or you're not being humble. But like, to step into that area and just take that necessary drive, I think.
And how would you do that? How do you go in that part?
I think it's like, I'm still like playing around with it. For this one, I wrote down like a little passage, and I'm never going to share that with anyone, because I'm not very proud of it, because it's just something that got me going a little bit more. Because if I take too much of a backseat and go, because I know in myself, if I'm too much of a laissez-faire kind of just like, I'm going to come along and just happy-go-lucky guy, like I'm just enjoying competing, that doesn't always work for me. And so I need to...
That never would work for me.
No. So I need to tap into that, like, I want to like get some, you know what I mean? Bit of mongrel about you. And you need to tell yourself and reconfirm that you are a competitor and you are an elite athlete going against other individuals. And so to tap into that sort of self-confidence, you need to, sit in that feeling for a little bit and remember, why you do this. And I don't know, it's not really like fooling yourself, because it's all there inside you, but it's tapping into that area of like, just through meditation and just sitting with yourself and reading that mantra or whatever it is, or thinking about a time where you're just going to absolutely dominate, or something like that. But yeah, it's funny, but then stepping back from that, of going, all right, well, I know that that made me feel some sort of comfort. And I know that whatever happens, I'm not going to get too up and down about it, because it's the same thing of separating yourself from the achievements or the losses or whatever. But it's hard. It's just, we're always just talking about like just getting present and just talking about connecting with yourself and learning about like how you feel and your mind, where your mind is going. And I don't know, I haven't worked it out. I don't think. I'm still like figuring out the best way to do it. But yeah.
That was so interesting that you use that method. I mean, you used that method this time. Thank you for sharing that, by the way.
Oh,
I mean, it's
okay.
like, it's interesting to hear about how people confront that side of yourself. I mean, there's so many different ways actually, and it's really personal to the person, how they start to sort of lean into that area and bring out or like get comfortable with that in order to know that it's there, acknowledge it, and then utilize it.
Yeah.
But it's not really part of your...
it's not consuming you.
Yeah.
No.
It's not, it doesn't become all of you. But I mean, in a sense, the word confidence is really interesting actually, because I mean, even though you were saying all of these things, I really had a sense that this sort of confidence is not really screaming. It's just like deep.
It's like a calm confidence.
Calm confidence.
That's what I use. I use that word.
It's calm confidence. It is.
Yeah.
Because you're not like, hey, like, come on, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not really.
Because that really falls down so fast. And it's like something like that, it doesn't have legs to stand on. Whereas I think this sort of confidence, it's kind of much more grounding because you can, and panoramic. I would say, I would use that word because...
How do you mean panoramic? Like,
well, I would suggest that like you can just see more things coming. Yeah. Like you can see, for example, like a mundane example might be in a competition, you just know where you're at and you can just see already, like you have an awareness of the space, but you have a deep awareness of yourself, and you just know like the situations that you want to engage in and you don't want to engage in, and you're able to protect yourself and... while also remaining open to the situation, and you know, you're working with the immediate situation, you know. I mean, that's why I would say in terms of panoramic.
That's awesome. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, but then interestingly, like some days you just wake up and you're like, damn, I feel like shit.
Yeah.
So, but then you still have to perform, right? So it's still a day.
I think that's where the
perform.
discipline comes in, right? So I feel that because we've come from a martial arts background, and also we've been, you know, elite competitors with like that drive for success or whatever the goal may be, the discipline to then go back on that and go, no matter how you're feeling, you know, you might sit and relish in that feeling shit for a while. Because I'm sure you've had it, like you've had a long period of time where maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll just speak for myself, I guess. But I've had moments where it's like, I maybe haven't gone to training for like a week because I'm just like, I don't know what's wrong, but I'm not feeling it. Like I don't want to go train with these people. I don't want to do this. I'm feeling like fat and heavy, like I've eaten too much. Like my weight's all out of the whack. I'm not enjoying X, Y, Z or whatever. And then something always, I can't even explain it what it is, but something will always bring you back. Do you feel that? Or do you feel like when you have those moments, let's say if you do, or like a day or you're feeling shit, do you feel that you actively go, I am a disciplined person and I'm going to bring it back? Or is it like just like a natural thing that you just go automatically, I'll be back?
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
I'm smiling because the word discipline comes up every now and then by talking to other people. And when I hear the word discipline, it's funny because people who I don't even know tell me, you must be a very disciplined person. Yeah. And I'm like, I just smile and shrug my shoulders. Yeah. Because I really don't feel like I'm that disciplined. Yeah. But one thing I do is keep showing up. Yeah, but I think that's discipline. I just keep showing up. I'm like, well, here I am again.
I think that's discipline, no? Is that not?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, Yeah, and I think that people, when you say discipline, I don't know, like I feel like, because with some things I feel like I'm really not disciplined.
Yeah,
Like,
I eat so much chocolate. I love chocolate.
me too. And so you just, why do I keep eating chocolate? I know that I shouldn't be eating chocolate. But, you know, like I still managed to get in on 99% of my weight categories.
Have you ever missed a weight?
No, but one time I made the whole team wait for me for 1 hour while I jogged up and down a car park, and everyone sat in the bus while I just did laps until I was underweight.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I won the tournament.
Oh, really?
Copenhagen Open.
Oh, damn. Maybe they should have been jogging.
I wouldn't advise people to do that, but...
No, we've all been there.
But I was really mentally prepared at that stage. But I mean, like, yeah, so I don't know, it was weird. But it was weird because that happened, and that might be something that throws people off. But I felt really good in myself in the lead up to that, and I was sort of watching what was happening as well internationally, and I was feeling like really ready to just go forward.
Yeah.
And that was a big turning point for me.
What
at
year
that
was
tournament.
that?
2008.
Wow.
So that was a big turning point for me, that particular tournament. And then I was like, wow, I really believe in myself from now on. I mean, I had in the past, but now I was like,
unfortunately,
man, I can just do this. Like,
unfortunately, you need sometimes evidence.
Well, I mean, I think we always need evidence, but there is, until the point of getting the evidence, there's like, there's hope actually. And hope sometimes has like negative connotations, but I just use the word hope because I just did a personality test and I was kind of like, wow, like hope's number 2 for me.
Yeah, I was listening. I don't know if you listened to this this podcast, The Imperfects. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I have heard of that podcast.
So there's this psychologist on there, Dr. Emily. She talks about hope. And it's quite interesting because I was listening to it and I think it's so amazing. And I think there's a way that we can incorporate hope into like competition in the karate space and everything like that.
And I think there's other words actually for hope.
Yeah.
Because like it's positivity, you know, optimism.
But they say that there's a stark contrast between optimism and hope. So optimism is just like sitting back like this and like, I'm optimistic, this is going to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas hope, it's like purely action based.
Yeah.
And it is
That's me.
It is the hope that like, is the hope that a good outcome could happen. But there's uncertainty there. So it's like has to incorporate the goal of what you want, the pathway of how to get there, and the agency and the intention to get to that, do all those things to get to that goal. So that's what hope is.
Wow. You just taught me something.
You gotta listen.
You just like cracked my brain.
You gotta listen to this episode. So,
and my heart.
Well, it's amazing because like I reckon that we can. There is a strong hope that there can be a massive change and a big ripple effect in the karate space for years to come, to bring back more connection. Sorry to use that word again. But I really do think that's important because I believe that having a strong connection across all levels of the sport is what we need to be successful as a sport, you know, between athletes, between coaches and referees, and between the stakeholders and parents and whatever. Like the connection there is what's going to drive success, I think. Yeah. You know?
I mean, I couldn't agree more because in karate as a sport, in Australia in particular, we're losing a lot of knowledge that comes through, and then like that is basically how that knowledge is, once that person leaves and is no longer in the pathway or pipeline or connection base, the knowledge is lost and people move away from the sport or whatever. The next generation don't receive the gold that person discovered in their journey, on the thing. Like then we have to literally
do it all again,
start from scratch. Whereas like what other nations do, I feel, is they have a really strong connection intergenerationally between athletes. They have like they have a huge depth in new talent, but then they have like a huge depth in the athletes that have moved through, that are that have been so passionate and stayed with the sport, and that is how you stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yes.
You know, you don't have to like reinvent the wheel every time. Like someone has actually done that. I mean, you can't. This is not something you can ask ChatGPT about.
No, you're so
to
right.
speed up the process. You know, and the knowledge is really there. But I mean, like the hope piece in terms of, it comes down to, I think it's strongly connected. I mean, I don't have like any rich research or anything, but I mean, I would suppose that it's connected strongly with confidence and with discipline and with belief. And like, that is like the belief, like everyone's just like, how'd you do it? I believed I could. And it's just like, but what does that mean? And then you literally ask people, what was your method of crossing the finish line? I remember watching this on Instagram, like a cyclist, his method was to sing a song that his daughter sings. It's like googly googly goo or something. That is his method for, you know, getting through the last, 2 kilometers when he can be overtaken or whatever. And, you know, like recently you said earlier, like in our conversation, one of the things that gets you through is like you talk to yourself. And like one of the things, like another thing that helped me immensely when I was recovering from injury was the way that I was talking to myself, to be very simplistic, very direct, very much, you know, like, you can do this. I didn't say you can do this. I said, I can do this. I'm okay. My knee's solid as a rock. You know, I can do, literally, like, it just sounds silly.
It does sound silly. And then,
Thank you.
It does sound silly. Because like the thing is, it's also like, maybe that doesn't work for someone else, but you have to figure that out, unfortunately. And the only way you figure that out, I think, is through like going deep and just discovering like what makes you tick and like what resonates with you. Is it googly goo, or is it like my knees are rock? Like, is it like the only way no one can tell you that. There's no like,
I was watching a documentary about a rock climber, and I borrowed this from her, and she was just like climbing up the face of like this mountain in Pakistan, and she would just say repeatedly, like she would say yes when she was like crimping on these like nothings, and then she would also say, I am safe. I'm like, girlfriend, like
you are so not safe.
You're not safe. But I mean, that is, I mean, I enjoy rock climbing as well, and like when I rock climb, I don't feel safe at all. And I'm just like, I am safe, and it helps.
Really?
It really does.
Wow.
And I mean, because your brain, it's not about like, I mean, like you even said it, like we can't. It's not going to take. You don't say it once and you just say, oh yeah, I got that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You literally, how many times do you have to read that piece of paper?
Yeah.
How many times did you do it?
I did it maybe like 6 times.
Yeah.
So not many, but like, I mean,
but
I'm
that's
not
for that piece of paper. I mean, but then, in
yeah.
terms of the messages in that paper, how many times do you have to repeat that to yourself?
Yeah, so many times. Mentally, I've done it heaps over this weekend and just keep thinking about that.
You think about it over and over.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, like for every negative thought, for every positive thought we have, for every negative thought you have, you need minimum 3 positive thoughts to counterbalance that negative thought.
Really?
Yeah, there's research done. It may even be 6, I can't remember, but
it's
like,
lot.
It's a lot because we have a negative bias.
Yeah.
That's why, like I told you, it's just like, oh yeah, you won the nationals. Oh yeah, but like anyone can win once. Like you got to back it up, back to back.
It's so funny
what?
as well.
I just won.
The classic like self-deprecating nature that I think probably Australia, it's pretty strong in Australian culture.
Yeah.
Is like, oh, you won, oh, but you didn't really win like against anyone crazy, or you didn't win by like. That point was kind of
that sort of talk has really got to go out the window.
The tall poppy syndrome, you know, or like, oh, you won, but like, was there really anyone good in the division, or was it a good competition, or you know, and you're like. I don't know if it was actually, and then you just go into this.
Yeah, you go into yourself
spiral,
and you take that with you, right? As an individual.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so it's hard as Australians, first of all, but as athletes to like get out of that headspace and just be really happy with like your achievement and with the performance that you did. But then it's also like you still want to be improving, but you can be critical, but in a positive way.
it's interesting that you say, like, you highlight Australians, but I would suggest that, I mean, it goes beyond Australia. I think
so?
I think it's an athlete. I think it's like people who are trying to do very challenging, have big challenges.
Get looked at funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, that's why you have those memes on the internet that are like, don't bother the person who's doing it. You know, like there's that poem that Brene Brown always recites about, you know, don't bother the person in the arena. They're just doing their job, you know. The man in the arena, that's the poem she always quotes. Because people, they love to make a comment on the side. They love to have that, like, they just like to, you know, throw that in there. And they think that every opinion, you know, should be heard.
Yeah.
And it's just like, actually, well, okay, here's a story. Like, so Ryotaro Araga just came from Japan to do a couple of seminars. He's an Olympian, got a bronze medal in Tokyo Olympics for karate. And he was the only one to get a bronze medal on the Japanese karate team. And he told us during the seminars that the Japanese team believed that tournament, that competition was a failure for them. Because nobody else got medals, he only got bronze. You know, the host nation, they have a lot of honor to hold up.
Yeah, of course.
And I mean, imagine holding that as athletes. You're just like, okay, great. Like, you know, I was planning on retiring after this.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's all a matter of perspective, but I just think it's a very human thing, I think, to bring yourself down.
Yeah.
And I'm not, again, it comes back down to, we're not saying, I think we're not saying that, you know, you have to turn into this, like...
ball of positivity.
Yeah, or even, like, ride down, or even, it's this balance of just simply holding yourself from your perspective and seeing what you've done with clear vision and with openness, I think. Like, not holding yourself up too high, but then not pushing yourself down too low either. I mean, that's what, that's like why should one insult or one so-called, you know, like, negative comment impact you more than a positive comment? Why should I let a positive comment, like, you know, raise me up and think that I'm something more than what I am? You know, like, a lot of that is balancing out, right? It's just like, people praise me, they don't even know who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just like, you must be amazing, blah, 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 blah. And you just like, and that day you don't feel like that. And then you just go, yeah, thanks. But, you know, but then you can get carried away from either side.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's where I was getting at with, like, your successes and your not so much successes, like your failures. If you let that take you up here, your successes and your achievements and whatever, and compliments or whatever, and then you also, on the other side, let it take you down low, then you're not really paying attention to what matters in between, which is what your core self is. And how do you always regulate that? That's just a constant mission. Like, you have to just, it is, because I think to myself all the time, I'm like, all right, great, I think I figured it out. I can regulate, and I'm regulating this, and I feel good, and I'm myself, and then something happens, and I'm just like, what? I need to keep doing it, you know what I mean? And it's just like a never-ending thing that you have to just keep working on. It's like, once again, just go deep inside, get present, figure out what you are and who you are, because that's all you got. You don't have anything. You do have all the other stuff. There is so many things that forge your life and forge your path, and where you go down and how you influence the world. But at the end of the day, you are you, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you are you. Even that statement. I mean, what I really loved about you just describing everything that you just mentioned is that, like, you have to keep regulating yourself because you keep changing. Because you are you, but you are constantly evolving.
Yeah, and put into different situations that will throw you a curveball. And send you down a different path.
I think that's where people get trapped, is that they're like, you know, they think that they're going to be a certain way always, or they get some kind of feedback from someone and then they think that, oh yeah, that's part of me now. People see that in me, it must be there. So it's like, can't do anything about it. And they think it doesn't move, but everything moves all the time. And you have to work with that. And it's like this constant working, I think. Like, I just loved what you just said. You're just like, what? Like, I have to keep doing this.
Yeah.
You're like, When do I work it out?
Yeah, when does it just stop?
Yeah. But
It
I mean,
doesn't.
in a way, like, I guess, like, you work it out as you do it.
But this is what life is, I think. It's like you work it out and you figure out how you deal
Like,
with,
I got it.
how you
I
deal with
lost it.
situations. But you figure out how you deal with situations, and then that's like, okay, this is how I deal with situations. And then
Yeah.
a new situation happens. You know, let's say you don't achieve the thing that you set out to achieve, and that in itself is another thing that you have to deal with. And so you then have to regulate, and then you have to come back to and figure out like what actually means the most to me. Is it something like that, or is it really like your other core values? And then you regulate, and then something else happens, and then it's just keeps going. I don't know. That's how I've operated through my short life so far.
And so for you, you know, what's motivating you right now?
I think, you know, I wanted to be world champion, and I want to be world champion still. And that was a main driver from a young age. And I'm very happy with my achievements over my career, and I still think I can achieve more, but that's not like on the priority list as high on the priority list anymore as much as something else. I think it's I think I noticed how much influence I have on people and the next generation and people in the community of karate and interstate and international, and I sort of think that I can be a sort of a glue for some people in different areas of karate, and that is what really makes me excited about like the future, and how can I be a better serviceman of the sport. I think that's what really drives me now, and I'm starting to feel the pull to increasing that capacity and responsibility and coaching and in mentoring or whatever that may be, wherever that leads me down. But the thing, like when I'm competing, what really gets, like, I love winning, and it's so great, but and the medals and it's the titles and whatever. But what I get really excited about is like the little kids from my club that sit on the side and watch and like are like, oh my god, and I'm just like, this is so cool, because I remember what it was like when I was like watching you. Do you know what I mean? And I was like watching all the people that I looked up to, and how that made me feel, and how that made me like aspire to be like you. And that changed my life. Do you know what I mean? Because I went down this pathway of setting out to achieve that because of people like yourself. And so knowing that, well, maybe not knowing, but getting the sense of like, maybe I could be that for these kids is like, what? That is crazy. It is so crazy. Like, and it's a big responsibility as well, because I never want to, you know, be a bad role model for kids, and that's something that keeps me in check all the time. You know, so that is, but that it's a complete privilege to be in that position. You know, so that's what, I don't know if that's
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow, Mitch. First of all, I definitely think you are a role model for a lot of those children and for a lot of people within the community, and also like just people who you connect with outside of karate as well.
Thanks.
Definitely.
Thanks. Yeah, it would be like stupid for me to not realise that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it would be ignorant to say, oh, I don't think I'm a role model, because I think regardless of whether you view yourself as a role model or not, whether you're if you're a senior athlete or someone in the community, I think you are automatically someone that everyone's looking at, and you know, like.
I guess for me, when I hear that sort of stuff, because I never thought I was a role model, but then people were like, wow, you're my role model.
You're my hero.
I was like, cool. And I really didn't know how to respond to that. And also hearing you talk about like watching me, because I didn't even remember you were watching me.
Yeah.
But then you must have watched me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was interesting to listen to, but then also like reflect on you know, what it means to like be a good person, because I kind of a bit allergic to the words good girl.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I think that there's a lot of pressure on people to, you know, be like the picture perfect, like don't do anything bad because like people look up to you, you're an ambassador of the blah blah, whatever you're the ambassador for. And I guess I'm a bit different to you. Like I just thought, in a sense, from my perspective, I think I'm a bit different because I was just like, wow, like how, like I'm supposed to be this perfect person,
It's interesting.
you know.
I understand that.
But then I realized later that the way that I can be a role model is by being myself. So
whoa, that's crazy.
So then I don't have to be anything that I don't think I am. Like I can just be who I am. And I think that's when I really started to be a pokeball.
Yes. We've come all the way around. That's so good. That is awesome. Because it's not about like being a role model when you're successful.
That's right.
It's about showing how you are a pokeball.
Exactly. And how you deal with loss. I connected with so many people when I became injured because I was like, my God, this is actually a really common experience for people that I wasn't like, I didn't have an embodied experience of that. I mean, I had been injured before, like, and it had put me out of seasons, but not in this way, like this way where I felt a bit broken.
Rattled.
Yeah, no, but like literally I was broken.
Literally broken. But in
like
here,
something was broken.
But in here,
and also, internally I was just like, wow, like, and the rehab, like everything is so slow. That's when I learned how to be gentle with myself, how to talk nicely to myself, you know, because like the voice you talk to yourself is really important. Yep. I used to just be like, come on, like, you know, come on, bitch, like, let's go. Like, you know, like that. Internally, into my internal voice, okay? Yes. So it's just like, not my, no one would ever hear me say that, of course. No. But like, you can be really mean to yourself, like, you're not good enough, all of these words. But then I was like, you know what? Like, everything takes time. Just keep going.
Just going slow.
This is the pace.
Being soft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how, you know, that's actually like softness. That's where the real power comes.
Truly, yeah. Absolutely.
And because you can bend, you can be flexible, you can be adaptable. I mean, I remember having an argument, a discussion with people on the team. I can't remember who it was with, but we talked about like, who do you think's the person that's going to win the tournament on the day, you know? And for some reason it sticks out, it's the person who can adapt the best to the conditions.
Yep.
It's not going to be necessarily the fastest, strongest, most experienced person. It's not going to necessarily be the favorite. It's going to be the one who adapts the fastest. And that's the person who comes out on top on the day. In karate, like with all sport, it's about performance and in terms of winning, I guess. But of course, like, yeah, it's completely subjective. Like, I think that's the one thing that, like what blew my mind recently at the Olympics, like last year, was that the person who wins the world record is not necessarily the person that gets the gold medal. You could get the world record in semi-finals or whatever. And then the final heat. Yeah, in the final itself, you can finish like you may not even medal. Yeah. You know, or you can get bronze or whatever. Yeah. Because it's like, and then that is just the nature of like subjectivity. Yeah. And also in karate, that's why you have to let go of the result because you sometimes don't have that much control over it. There's so many other factors that come into play. And so that's why you come back to that sense of who you are and how you can be yourself. It's not a joke. Like when people say that, you know, the best thing you can do is be yourself.
I think something that we need to encourage more of is like, in order to go into like knowing who you are, you need to have a sense of like softness and like willingness to like look at yourself and explore and just, you know, don't be so like this, you know. But it's funny when we're competing as like elite athletes, you've got to have that, and you've got to have time for that, and then you've got to have time to be hard.
It's a balance.
It's the yin and yang, you know.
It's yin and yang.
I actually, I'll tell you on the piece of paper that I wrote. I drew a yin and yang symbol. Yeah. Because it's what I feel is like the calm energy and softness and gratitude and all of that stuff matched with the yang?
The yang, I mean, the yang comes so naturally to people like us. That's why, I've spent a lot of time...
Yanging it up.
No.
Just yanging it up.
Working on my yin.
No, sorry. But
I don't have to practice yang. I am people meet me and they're like...
All athletes have been just yanging it up.
Literally,
for ages.
I just think people come up to me, they're like, whoa,
just chill out.
No, they don't tell me to chill out, but I think they notice that side of me first.
Right.
They notice the combat sport person. Yeah. And I'm literally not doing anything. I'm just, minding my own business. And then it's like effervescing off me or something.
It's your aura.
Well, I mean, I don't want to, I'm not trying to talk myself up or anything, but that's literally what people notice first. So I just try so hard I've been practicing the yin side because it's a balance. That is how you get the best of the yang as well. It's interconnected. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we need to encourage more yin in all aspects of our life.
Yeah.
And that's
what you carry beyond competition.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not even about competition. It's about how you discover yourself and how you deal with your life and how you navigate through things. Yeah.
Wow, that's such a beautiful thing.
We've covered so much. Are you happy with covering things?
Yeah, I think that's a good place to end the podcast. Yeah. I mean, we've been talking for about an hour now.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel that long.
Oh, really?
No.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And maybe we can have another chat about more of this or perhaps something else related to cultivation. Because I feel your own practice, I mean, you sort of during that period of chaos and questioning really opened up a lot of interesting pathways that you started to explore.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's just interesting because a lot of the things I think that we've mentioned are we sort of just say it you got to work on the yin. But I think people that if you told someone to do that, you and I have our method of doing it. But I think it's not immediately
way deeper into that.
Yeah.
We were talking another full episode about yin. What do you reckon?
Could.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah. That'd be so good.
Yeah.
But we'll have to... I've really enjoyed this. This is great.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.